the week, the market traded generally up this week, gaining 2.11% to close at 22,763. On a day-on-day basis, the market was essentially traded flat, gaining just 0.11%. Level of interest in the market seems to have spiked as we saw volume shot up 48% to just over 420 million units traded in the market today. Of all stocks traded, 23 stocks gained, 36 lost, while 66 stocks traded flat. Amongst the top gainers were Flour Mills, Japol, and WAPCO. Among the top losers were FCMB, ASO Savings, and Crusader. Hello?
Okay, and who are the losers this week on the exchange in Lagos?
Yeah, we think the trend we saw this week was essentially a short periods of gains followed by profit taking. As you will see in the trend analysis of what has happened this past week, most of the gains was in the first days of the week, while the other days was just days of profit taking. We generally expect that such a trend will continue into next week, and as such, we may see the market trade sideways, or just shed some or just show marginal gains. That said, the much anticipated liquidity-driven rally as a result of federal government's injection of over $2 billion into the economy hasn't materialized. We think this will still happen. Unlike some other analysts who believe, it was an early call by market analysts. We think this rally will still happen, but just about whether inflection point will be is any man's guess. What we think may be happening is we may be in what we may call the sentiment compounding phase, where most investors, even though they've got capital set aside, are waiting for the first signs of a sustained rally. That is our view of the market. Yeah.
And what about the trading in the Naira?
The Naira market has the devaluation in the CBN market, which is the official market, and it's responsible for over 90% of volumes of FX traded for Naira in this market. The devaluation in that market has slowed significantly. We've seen CBN increase the amount of dollars they supplied into that market. We think what we have here is a CBN management regime that is very focused on interventionism. In other words, they will at any point, right, they have a view on where they want the Naira to be. Should they think market sentiment isn't in favor of that view, they will undersupply, oversupply accordingly. So we think that will happen. What we think may happen in terms of supply in that space is CBN will most likely meet demands considerably, and that means we could see them injecting north of $400 million next week into the market. And so we see the Naira really being stable for the coming week. Hello?
So Akinwonuola, get your crystal ball out on a Friday afternoon. How do you think, what should we be looking for next week from the Lagos exchange?
Come again, I didn't get that.
So what should we be expecting next week from the Lagos exchange?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, for the capital markets, I would expect the market to trade sideways. That said, we may see a commencement of the rally next week, but that really is any man's guess, and that is something we wouldn't want to place a bet on. So what we think will be the dominant trend next week will be the market trading sideways with some marginal gains at the end of the week.
Just one thing, I mean, it's slightly market related. I mean, the action at the moment between the government talking to Shell about this possibility of getting these people who've taken the amnesty in the Niger Delta back into society. How is the market reacting to that at all?
I didn't get that question, but I think I understand the general direction of that question. We think the Niger Delta in the immediate term may be stabilizing. What we see is, above all, I think the most critical factor in Niger Delta is the amnesty. And we've seen the bulk of the militants fall in line. And we've seen generally, really, against all expectation, the Yar'Adua administration seems to have gotten this one nailed. And so we see a period of stability for the Niger Delta. We think the oil majors would kick back against the 10% they're looking at giving back to the communities. But by and large, our view on Nigeria's oil production right, is stable. We think that may rise from the current maybe 1.6 million barrels to just over 2 million very soon. And that, of course, is a positive for the country. The government will spend more money. That money is going to roll back into the capital markets and other asset classes, asset markets.